coming up, we actually have a panel, a talk titled, "What if crypto ads were super duper?" Coming at you live from Matthew Iles and Dan Kinsley from Superduper. So welcome, you guys. We're happy to have you here today. Really looking forward to learning about crypto ads, and take it away.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us. We're really excited to be here and to share what we've been up to. So the title of our talk is "What if crypto ads were super duper?" And we're going to get into exactly what we have in mind here. But first, there's actually a number of things that we're sharing for the first time here, such as who Dan and I even work for. And we work for a company called Serotonin. I'm the co-founder and partner at Serotonin, and we are a go-to-market firm for breakthrough technologies. We offer both marketing services for some of the best projects in the space and beyond, and we also build our own projects. And in my past, I've led marketing both in the Web 2 space and in the Web 3 space. I was the founder and CEO at Civil. And Dan, I'll pass it to you to give your quick intro, Dan being my partner in crime both at Civil and here.
Yeah, she's been a builder in the space for a while. I'm really passionate about building, Web3 technology and bringing it towards a mainstream audience, not just, crypto folks.
And there's lots of incredible people who work at Serotonin with us. My co-founder and CEO is Amanda Cassett, formerly CMO of Consensus. We have an amazing host of teammates who have been in the space for a number of years. And like I said, our primary focus has been working as a marketing firm with some of the best projects in the space. And here's just a handful of some of the projects that we currently work for. And we help these companies grow. That's what we think about all the time at Serotonin, is how do you grow a brand? And as we've been thinking about our other interests in terms of developing our own products, this question is central for us. What products would we be able to develop that can help projects grow their brand, grow their business, grow their community? And something that we've been thinking about, and I think a lot of people in the space have been thinking about from a marketing sense, is the notion of influencers. Influencers have been a growing marketing channel for many years now, but in recent years, it's starting to take on a new tone and even a new word, which I think is creators. Creators have started to become the leading way in which we refer to this changing paradigm, and really what it's doing to the changing media industry. And we've started to think about this from the perspective of like, what is going on in the creator economy? What exactly are creators doing? And first and foremost, of course, they're making media. Creators are creating videos, imagery, photos, memes, audio, music, essays, articles, collectibles, games, even art. And then they're looking to monetize their audience. That's how they're supporting themselves. That's how they're growing their capabilities, their communities. They need to somehow monetize the audience that's coalescing around the media that they create. And they often do this through two ways. They generate first-party revenue, which is to say they're getting money from their audience directly, either in the form of patronage, tipping, just essentially gifts or donations. Sometimes it's in the form of access payments, so paywalls to articles, token-gated discords. And then, of course, there's just retail, bidding and buying NFTs on SuperRare or Zora. You're just purchasing a good from these creators. But there's also traditionally another form of revenue that creators use to grow their business, which is third-party revenue. And this has been in the form of ads and sponsors. And we're going to go into this a little bit more and how we think we can help impact this for Web3 creators. So over the past 20 to 30 years, first-party revenue is actually on a huge decline. As the internet made it possible, free to publish, free to distribute, audiences really moved to the aggregators, the big platforms. And consumers didn't think they needed to really spend much for such a glut of media that was out there. And in recent years, we started to see, even when consumers want to pay for something, there is still a sense of fatigue. You can only have so many Substack subscriptions before you just decide that you can't pay anymore. Meanwhile, third-party revenue, especially online, has been exploding, and it's been primarily captured by platforms like Facebook and Google. The problem here is there's no even opt-in for creators. Creators don't get to choose what ads are placed next to their content. They don't get to choose what brands are associated with them. And that's because of the advent of programmatic ads, which of course everyone finds so icky these days, and for good reason. But when we think of just about like at the macro, we have first party revenue where consumers start to feel penny pinching as they even if they want to support more and more creators, they just don't have the means. Meanwhile, third party revenue, brands have tons and tons of money to spend and they want to put it to good work. And a good example of just putting this side by side is Substack, which is really the most well-known mainstream brand in terms of the creator economy, at least in some respects, just hit this very impressive milestone, 500,000 paid subscribers. But when you get into the economics, there's just not actually that much money there. It's $60 million GMV, gross merchandise revenue, going through the whole platform. That's every single person who has a Substack. The total pie of revenue is $60 million. When you compare that to Facebook, last year, they created $84 billion. And so that difference of just, 1400x, and is it fair to compare and contrast Facebook to Substack, in terms of age and so on? But the point is, there's not 1400 times more consumer revenue to go around. That just doesn't seem likely. And so there's this very untapped pie, we feel, when it comes to third-party revenue in the Web3 space. When you look at the kind of creator economy and its convergence with what's going on in Web3 with NFTs, you have crypto art, you have the retail consumer revenue through Super Rare, Zora, Foundation, people buying standalone NFTs, and certainly to some staggering sums, which is great for the creators, but still we think limited ultimately in the long run. And then these kind of emerging crypto media patronage models like you're seeing with Mirror and the crowdfunding aspects. And of course, there's the tokenized discourse. But what we don't see in the creator Web3 space yet is access to third-party revenue. But there are certainly brands who want to put their money to work in this space, and certainly as more and more people come into the Web3 economy of the future. So that's what we've been working on. And what we want to introduce today is our first product from Serotonin, and it's called Superduper. And it's a decentralized marketplace for creators and sponsors. Sponsors being brands, marketers, individuals, anyone who wants to be able to get a message out to a creator's audience in a decentralized, more effective Web3 way. And so let's show you what this looks like. We're to think of it as a vampire attack on centralized social media. The centralized social media platforms have captured so much of the revenue pie that we want to bring it over and make it accessible to a decentralized ecosystem of creators and sponsors. And so the aspects of this, of Superduper, are that it's peer-to-peer. Anyone who has a message can sponsor any creator across any platform. We're leveraging crypto markets for dynamic price discovery. No more guessing what you should price your sponsored content at, or what you should pay for a certain sponsored message for. It's all going to just be market-based. We're bringing two different ways of pricing these listings to the market: one-off auctions and radical markets. Dan's going to show you a little bit more about that in just a second. And the whole point of this is that we're unlocking a whole new revenue stream for creators. You don't have to worry about only gating your community, extracting as much revenue as possible from your community. You can have more open approaches to that. You can go beyond just consumer dollars, and you can target brands and marketers who have more money. So Dan, I'll pass it over to you if you want to explain a little bit about what's under the hood, and then we'll give everyone a demo.
Sure, totally. So this is a super high-level view of like what the actual like smart contracts are. Effectively, it's a marketplace contract. It implements the ERC 721 interface, so each listing is an actual NFT. It's a little bit different insofar as the marketplace can unilaterally transfer a listing based on the rules of the controller. So when a creator creates a listing, they choose the controller. So whether it's the auction or the radical market, or some other controller that hasn't been created yet. And so then we have a governance layer that approves, what is allowed, the controllers that are allowed. And it also mints a token when there's economic activity, which we're going to get to in a little bit. I think, so next slide. So let's take a brief look at like a radical market flow in terms of a listing. So our creator Iles creates the listing. She sets a minimum price or a minimum assessment. And the whole idea with the radical market is it's always for sale based on the self-assessed value of the person that owns it. So Iles creates the listing, Bob can purchase it essentially for free for 0 DAI. And then he sets an assessment of 600 DAI, and he puts 1 month's fees, retainer fee, into an escrow contract. So Bob puts 600 DAI in. And so again, this listing is always for sale for the assessed price. And then the retainer fees continuously accrue. So Alice can withdraw these fees at any time. If you did it 1 month from now, she'll be able to withdraw 600 DAI. At any point, Carol can come in, see that listing for 600 DAI, say that's a bargain. She can buy it, and then she sets a new assessment. So maybe it's 700 DAI, and she'll put in 350 DAI into the escrow contract. So at this point, the transaction will pay out Bob 600 for the sale proceeds, and Carol will put in 950. So she'll pay 600 to buy it and 350 into the escrow contract. If the owner effectively defaults or doesn't pay their fees, the creator is allowed to evict the owner of that NFT or of the listing, and then it essentially resets, so then the new owner can come in and pay the fees. So now that we have a kind of high-level overview, let's just jump into the demo. And so this is what a creator would see when they create a listing. They're able to, so the goal here is for a creator to effectively sell themselves and sell their what they're providing, so to sponsors, to show why they're a good candidate for them to buy this listing. So they can give insight into their audience. They can add tags to enable sponsors to find topics of interest. They could show the channels that they're active on, whether it's Twitter or Twitch or a podcast. And they have this kind of rich text editor where they can kind of add any arbitrary details to help kind of show what's unique to them. Right now, they can list the token or do the listing in DAI. We can add other tokens in the future. They set a base assessment and then the retainer fee. I'll jump over to, this is what a sponsor would see. So the creator creates the listing. They can mark, and then then sponsors can discover this, and they see that the assessment is for 1,000 DAI, so they can purchase it now for 1,000. I'm going to click purchase. Now I set a new assessment. I'll set that to 1,500, and I will prepay 1 month's fee. So I'm going to pay 2,500 DAI, 1,000 to buy it, and then my prepaid escrow fees. And then I'm paid for about a month. And then I'll confirm that and then submit. My MetaMask just popped up, and I'm in the process of purchasing this transaction, purchasing this listing. So at this point now, the current owner will get any proceeds. So presumably they're setting the assessment higher than what they paid for it. So potentially they made a little bit of money. But I think what's really interesting from a game theory perspective is that this allows creators, everyone's incentivized to set the true market value of what this thing is worth, because if they set it too low, and obviously their retainer fees will be really low, but someone will just scoop it up and take it from them. And then if they set it too high, then they'll presumably overpay in retainer fees. So the incentives are aligned. So this transaction confirmed. I now own the listing. At this point, I can communicate with the creator using. Excited to work with you. I can communicate with the creator using an end-to-end encrypted chat using the Signal protocol, and they can sort of work together to kind of do what is sort of spelled out in this listing. So with that, I'll pass it back to Matthew to finish this out about what's coming up next.
Great, thanks. And while I get my screen back up, let's see. I suddenly lost my my slides. One moment, sorry for that. Okay, perfect. So what Dan just showed you was a feature that we want to speak to. So in addition to being decentralized, in addition to having dynamic price discovery, some of the other core features that Superduper brings to market in its V1 speak to privacy and convenience for both the creator and the sponsor. So you just saw Dan demoing the end-to-end encrypted chat. This means all messaging between creators and sponsors is totally between those two parties only. It's double opt-in, fully encrypted, and anonymity enabled. Another convenient feature is decentralized asset management. So often in creators and sponsor relationships, the sponsor is looking to share logos, taglines, pre-roll video, things of that nature that they would like the creator to use on their various channels, and that can be a headache to manage all those different assets. Now, the fact that Superduper is able to be completely omni-channel or cross-channel across all your platforms where you manage your sponsorship engagements here. You have a decentralized asset management where all the sponsored assets are in one place, stored privately and stored permanently. Some things that are on our roadmap: escrow contracts where you can pay a portion upfront and pay the rest on delivery, fully negotiable between two parties. Private listings, so you can make certain sponsored listings available to see only by trusted partners as opposed to being publicly discoverable. This enables things like discounts to special partners or just putting together special packages without necessarily giving that away to the wider public. And then ratings and reviews. Because of the transactions taking place on chain, we can actually verify when a relationship is taking place between a creator and a sponsor, and therefore when we ask those two parties to give ratings and reviews about each other, that builds reputation for the rest of the ecosystem, and it can even be used to help boost discoverability so that everyone is working in the best interest of the ecosystem overall. Speaking of, Superduper will have its own platform token, and the plan for the Super token is there will be 0 pre-mine. Instead, it will mint with every transaction. So every time a sponsor pays a creator, it will create an equivalent amount of super tokens. 42.5% of the transaction amount will go to the creator, 42.5% will go to the sponsor, and 15% will go to a community treasury. In this way, over time, the super token will be owned primarily by the most popular creators and the most active sponsors, as it should be with a decentralized marketplace. We're super excited to get folks to join our beta. So if you're a creator, if you're interested in creating art, media, if you're a gamer, if you're a developer even, you create your developer evangelist, we think that Superduper can help boost your business. If you're a sponsor, if you're a brand, a meme lord, a whale, a patron who's just trying to get a message out into this growing ecosystem, and you want to even just support the creators who are already involved, please get in touch. Sign up today. You can go to superduper.so and sign up for our beta access, which is rolling out later this month. And if you want to get in touch with us to ask any questions, learn more about Superduper, learn more about serotonin, please get in touch with us with our information here. Thanks so much, everyone.